Welcome back to Fast Gear. Today we are going to install the engine on this Lamborghini Huracan. Next step is going to be to drop the engine inside the compartment. This operation requires 3 mechanics. One on the side of the engine, making sure the engine has a perfect alignment. The other mechanic will be operating the crate. Take your time to make sure everything is clear underneath the engine before you drop the engine in. Slowly drop the engine half an inch at a time to allow the mechanic to be able to see if the part is clear or not. Don't forget to keep the engine in the same angle as the previous engine. The next step will be making sure all the engine is clear. This process might take few minutes. Always keep in mind that the harness has to be clear for any parts. It is recommended to lower the engine first and then forward. Once the engine is in, you can push it forward slightly until you reach the right distance for the engine mount. As you can see, we are double checking everything to make sure the wire harness is not tangled or is underneath the wires or the frame. Be patient. This process might take a few minutes. As you can see on the left side, we are making sure that the oil tubes are clear for the exhaust. Pull this oil tube up slightly and keep lowering the engine. Right now in this section we are moving the hoses. The coolant hoses are in the front of the engine. On the lower section, make sure they're clear before the engine is completely down. It is very important to make sure the engine mount is in the right place. If you lower the engine on top of the mount, they're not aligned. You can damage the engine mount. It is recommended to have a mechanic on the lower section of the vehicle, making sure the engine mount is aligned with the engine. In this case, the left side is already in place. We just require to move the engine slightly to the right and it will be in the right place on both sides. The next step will be remove the crate so we can work comfortable. The next step will be to reconnect the PCMs. At the moment we are connecting the PCM. Make sure to install the ground wires on each side. Now we are going to go ahead and install the flywheel. It's recommended to put a little grease on it to facilitate the installation of the flywheel. Keeping the area clean and lubricated is very important for the job. For this application, we are going to use a thread locker to make sure that the bolts will never get loose. As we mentioned before, this flywheel has a pilot hole. Align the pilot hole and then all the holes will be aligned. Facilitate the installation of the flywheel by hand. Install all the bolts to make sure they are properly aligned. Carefully install the rest of the bolts one by one. Please follow the Lamborghini manual in order to get the proper sequence of how to torque this flywheel. As you can see, we like to put the screws in by hand. This way you avoid damaging the thread. Once the bolts are all the way in, you proceed to apply torque. At the moment of using this ratchet, make sure you don't apply any torque to the fastener. That will definitely change the amount of torque applied to it when it's time to do the final torque. Now we are going to go ahead and use our torque wrench to make sure every fastener has proper torque. Remember, follow the Lamborghini manual. Now it's time to install the transmission. This transmission was previously opened and serviced. This operation will be in a different episode. Take your time when you install the transmission. Make sure it is clear of any wire harness, any part that could be hidden. As you can see, we are getting close to a perfect alignment. Take your time to make sure the bottom of the transmission is aligned with the flywheel. The transmission is already in. The next step is make sure the engine has no oil. We are going to replace the oil filter and add new oil to the system. Now we install a new filter. We purchased the parts at Lamborghini San Antonio. Don't forget to replace this oil ring. In this case, we use per kilo oil. This oil is made in Italy. This is recommended by Lamborghini. It's always a good idea to lubricate the oil ring before they install it. We apply a small amount of oil around the oil ring before it gets inserted and torqued by hand. Assure that the filter cap is installed properly. Carefully install the cap. Next step will be to apply the proper torque for the oil cap. Improper use of the torque wrench will cause damage to the part. Also, if the cap is not properly torqued, it will leak oil during operations. Don't forget to follow the Lamborghini manual. That's it for now. Stay tuned for the final episode. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you next time.